What is good, YouTube? This your boy Aaron.
It's Brian.
This is the Courtside View Podcast, and we are back today, live streaming, reacted to the Super Bowl. Not the best Super Bowl I've ever seen, not even close. One of the worst Super Bowls I've ever seen, and the fact that the team that I rooted for got absolutely destroyed is heartbreaking, especially against a team with some of the worst fans in America, by the way. Some of the worst fan base in America. To see them win, it broke my heart. But at least we had Kendrick in the halftime show. At least I can be happy about that. Other people weren't happy about it, but for me, I was enjoying it. But yeah, man, the Chiefs, they lost. I lost money because of it. I didn't win any parlay. I hate the Eagles. Screw y'all. Jalen Hurts. Why'd you have to QB sneak for that touchdown? Why not give it to Saquon Barkley at least? God, I didn't win anything. Vegas literally got they lick back from last year, because I guarantee you a lot of people was betting on the Chiefs last year. But, it is what it is. That's what happens when you gamble. You win some, you lose some. Brian, what was your thoughts on your arch enemy winning the Super Bowl, the Eagles, taking down the Chiefs in just that level of fashion?
That was one of the worst Super Bowls I've ever had the displeasure of watching. The Chiefs looked like they didn't know how to play football out there. The receivers was dropping passes. The O-line couldn't block. They couldn't block me out there at that point because they was getting smoked every single play. I'm like, this looks exactly like the 2020 Super Bowl or 2021 Super Bowl with the Chiefs and the Buccaneers. It was just awful. It was awful. And I honestly, I'm gonna be honest. After like halftime and a little bit after I started watching the game. After the first second drive of the third quarter, I started watching it. I was like, this it's over. It's over. I think like after Mahomes threw that interception to Zach Barnes, I said, yep, it's done. I'm not watching this anymore. And I went and did something else. I was eating wings and whatnot, watching YouTube. It was just bad, man. It was a bad display. I was thoroughly disappointed, and I thought I really wanted a close game. And even if the Eagles wanted a close game, at least I could say, well, at least it was a close game. At least it was a good game. But this was just utter dominance from kickoff to the freaking QB kneel. It was just bad, man. And the Chiefs, they got work. The better dudes theory won this time because they got thrashed. I mean, good grieving, man. Jalen Carter, that Eagles defense, man. That I didn't think they would be that dominant, but man, they was putting belt on them boys. You rarely see the Chiefs play this bad offensively. Like the players was dropping passes, and you know what the thing is? It really is that the Eagles, they didn't play scared.
Nope.
A lot of times, in the AFC, especially in the AFC, teams will line up against Mahomes. Like, oh my gosh, it's Mahomes. He's the boogeyman. But the Eagles like, man, we don't care about none of that. We here to hit and talk. You know what? Because they was on go from the jump. And the defense, the Chiefs defense tried to do everything in their power, but eventually, if offense can't move the ball up the field, that defense is going to start breaking down over time, and that's exactly what the Eagles did. The Eagles had some drives. Jalen Hurts threw that interception, I believe, was the second drive they had in like the red zone. But it didn't matter because they got the ball right back.
Right.
So it's just the Eagles defense really, in my opinion, were the MVP this game. Jalen Hurts, he played fine in my opinion. He didn't really do anything besides that one interception. He honestly wasn't bad at all. He made the right plays. He got a lot on the ground with his legs. So I say, Super Bowl MVP, you can't just give it to the defense because they got to win somebody. So you earn that MVP, Super Bowl MVP, but it's just a disappointing outcome. I'd at least would rather see a competitive game.
I agree with you, dude. One thing that I can take from this game is Patrick Mahomes is not immortal. He's human. He can be beat. 2, to beat the Chiefs, you need a great O-line and a great defensive line.
Yeah.
When you have those two things, you're going to be able to make it a game. Against the 49ers, they didn't have the O-line. They had the D-line. Even with the D-line, Patrick Mahomes late in the game was able to exploit it. But with the Eagles, that offensive line, one of the best in the NFL. The defensive line, one of the best in the NFL. The defense overall is the best in the NFL. And they just dominated from start to finish. It reminded me of the Tampa Bay game in the Super Bowl, where the Chiefs, their offensive line was shaky. They had to move some players around. Patrick Mahomes was running for his life. And the Buccaneers, they had a bunch of pass rushers. They had a bunch of guys that can get to the quarterback. And they exploited that. And the Chiefs got blown out. This game was the same way, but I believe it was worse because Patrick Mahomes made a lot of mistakes. He cost his team the game. Normally, we don't see that from Patrick Mahomes. Normally, we say, other circumstances happen, other variables happen. No, Patrick Mahomes was one of the major reasons why they lost because he threw two costly interceptions that just ruined the momentum for the Chiefs in that offense. Cooper DeJean, Zach Bond, those two guys made plays when they needed to most, and that really helped the Eagles at the end. And Jalen Hurts and that passing attack was able to take advantage of. They were able to take advantage of the mistakes of the Chiefs, and we normally don't see that from other teams. What did I say last week? I said this game is going to boil down to the turnover battle. The Eagles won the turnover battle. I think it was 3-1 because I think Patrick Mahomes also fumbled the ball. This is when I didn't watch the game. I think he fumbled the ball and he threw 2 picks, if I'm not mistaken.
Turnovers, we are looking at 3-1.
3-1. And the Eagles took advantage of them all. You're not going to win. 24-0 halftime lead. I don't care who you are. I know we've seen the Chiefs come back from a 24-point deficit against the Texans, but the Texans didn't have the talent on the caliber of the Eagles. The Eagles, one of the best rosters we've ever seen. And this is with the quarterback getting paid over $200 million. That just lets you know, the GM knows how to draft players, knows how to restructure contracts in a way where they can sign a Saquon Barkley, where they can trade for an A.J. Brown and get him a contract extension, where they can bring back veteran players like a Brandon Graham or et cetera, or the other corner on their team.
Slay.
They just know how to get it done. They just know how to put the right pieces together to win now. Drafting Cooper DeJean, drafting Quinyon Mitchell, rookies, playing in the Super Bowl, making plays, playing productive the entire season. This is not normal. And that goes to the GM, that goes to the coaching staff being able to develop the talent, being able to plug and play, and their instant impact players automatically. That's just not normal. That is just unheard of. But they're able to do that every single time. And that's why the Eagles, 2 out of the 3 years, have made the Super Bowl, and they're Super Bowl champions. This is the second time they won the Super Bowl in the past 8 years. Before that, the Eagles, they were in a drought. But now it seems like they found a formula. They have their quarterback. They have a certain way of winning. And they did it. Jalen Hurts was phenomenal this game. Jalen Hurts, we thought you take away that run game, there's no way Jalen Hurts is going to beat you. Well, they took away the run game, and Jalen Hurts beat them. Jalen Hurts made all the right decisions except that one play where it was pretty much a punt. They call it a Josh Allen punt interception, where it's pretty much the other team is like in the 5-yard line. So Jalen Hurts just made all the right decisions. He was phenomenal. He deserved the Super Bowl MVP. And he wrote a lot of people. He didn't write back. He proved a lot of people wrong. And I got to salute to that. I'm not going to say he's a top 5 QB. I'm not going to say he's a top 6 QB. But if you want to say he's the 10th best QB, I'm not going to fight you on it. I'm just not going to be one of those people that is going to be prisoner of the moment and say, oh my God, Jalen Hurts is now in the top 5 discussion. Like we need to stop that. Calm down now. Let's not forget this NFL season is a marathon, and we saw those 17 games. Let's not be prisoner of the moment, because we've seen Nick Foles win a Super Bowl. We've seen Joe Flacco win a Super Bowl. We've seen Trent Dilfer win a Super Bowl. We've seen all these mid-tier quarterbacks win a Super Bowl, and we didn't call them top 5. Eli Manning, who, he's teetering top 10, but he was never a top 5 QB. My point is made. Let's calm down with this Jalen Hurts love. All right. He was great, but let's calm down about that. Man. This is why I hate to bring my Packers fandom into this, but this is why I've always been beating on the table saying, Packers, for God's sake, invest in the trenches, the defensive line. You're not going to beat the Chiefs. You're not going to beat the best teams if you can't rush the passer. I don't care how talented your offense is. I don't care how talented your QB is. The trenches win the Super Bowl. That's how you win the Super Bowl, is from the offensive line, defensive line. The Eagles literally did not blitz Mahomes. I don't think first half they didn't blitz him at all.
They didn't blitz him the entire game.
Bro, all they did was rush forward. That is very similar.
And you know what? You guess what the pressure rate was?
What?
52%.
Damn, that was very similar to, oh my God, the Giants versus the Patriots. And guess who was the defensive coordinator? Steve Spagnuolo. Whoa. The same guy that's on the Chiefs sideline as the defensive coordinator. Oh my God. Huh. How convenient. How ironic that situation turns out, where the coach that did that to Brady is on the other side of the fence. Anywho. Salute to the Eagles, man. I hate that they won the Super Bowl, but I can't deny how talented, how great they are. They just had a flawless game from start to finish. They were dominant from both sides. Saquon Barkley didn't need to have a great game. And I said this also. I said, I need to see Jalen Hurts. I need to see the 2022 version. And you know what Jalen Hurts said? You know what Jalen Hurts did? He was like, hey, Aaron. Hey, I know you doubt me, but guess what? I'm gonna show you the 2022 version. And he literally showed me the 2022 version. I didn't think he still had it in him, and he showed me it, and I was wrong. And I should have seen this coming, because that Eagles offense against the Chiefs 2 years ago, they played well. Like, it wasn't like they had trouble against them. They beat the Chiefs last year, so. I just kept ignoring the signs, Brian. I just kept ignoring the signs. I just couldn't pick against Mahomes, because he's done so much magic. He has so much of this witchcrafty stuff going on that had me second guessing. All the signs were there, but I just couldn't bet against Mahomes because he's proven me wrong so many times. So, yeah.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate to see the Eagles win. I mean, honestly, as a Cowboys fan, I'm not honestly too upset that they won, because, like, in 2018, I was devastated. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe these dudes. Nowadays, it's just like they're a winning team. I mean, they do the right things. They sign the guys. They know how to structure contracts to where you can kind of like push money down the line. And I think they said they have like $400 million in some type of money they're gonna have to pay eventually. But hey, I will pay that money for a ring any day of the week. They sign the players, they get the dues, the coaching be coaching. So I ain't even too mad at it. I'm more mad at the Cowboys for being garbage than the Eagles for being good, because at this point, I didn't want them to win, but I mean, a good organization, they're gonna do good organization things. So I'm not even mad. I just really wish we got a better game, and that's just pretty much it. And honestly, like you said, the trenches, the most important thing outside of the QB, the trenches is the most important aspect of the game. because we really saw when we saw who the fake demons was when the real demons stepped on the field. Good grief, the Eagles. It was just a can of whoop, you know what, all game. I mean, I was like, yo, I don't know what Mahomes could have done differently outside of not turning the ball over, because he did make some bad throws and bad reads, and I was just like, oh, this looks like Mahomes when he was going against the Bengals that year. I was like, oh my god, he's playing terrible. But other than that, also I want to say something to the people who are now just finally hopping on the Mahomes. Oh, Mahomes will never be the GOAT bandwagon, because y'all need to relax. Like, seriously, you need to relax. He has at least 10 more years left in this league, and he's still a generational quarterback. People now, I'm hearing crazy chatter. People say, oh, see, he's not even top 3 no more. Like, people's putting Aaron Rodgers over him, all type of goofy stuff. I'm like, okay, let's calm down here. Let's not be, like you said, prisoners of the moment and try to write him off because he had 2 stinky Super Bowl performances. Let's not do that, because he still has plenty of career left. He's lapping all them other QBs and stats in the playoffs. Wins, yards, all of that stuff. If you want to say, oh, he's not on Brady level, I agree. He's not Brady yet. He's not Brady. But to act like it'll never happen and that he's just cooked from now, like, come on, let's not be disingenuous here, because next year it's gonna be the same story. You're gonna be like, oh man, I'm sick and tired of the Chiefs. They're so good. It's gonna be the same story. Y'all gonna be crying. He's devil mad, blah blah blah. But then you gonna utter and say, oh yeah, he's not that good. Like, what? What are we talking about here? And this is the problem with sports fans. The losers be so ready to pounce on greatness, and it's just a sad state of where we are as sports watchers, where we already ready to dethrone the dude who's been at the top since he's gotten to the league, outside of that 1 year against Brady and that other year where the Bengals and Rams won the Super Bowl. It's insane to me.
You know, I forgot what the saying was, but I remember it was something to the realm of, like, you know, I forgot what it was, but to like what you mentioned, we're quick to tear somebody down when something doesn't go right. Like, when everything is going well, they're like, man, you're the best, you're the greatest we ever seen. But then just one time where they just aren't at their best, they make a mistake, they lose, they play their worst game. It's like, oh, you suck, you're the worst, you're not better than this guy. Oh, you were never better than this guy. You're overrated.
You're a fraud. You're a fraud. I'm like, dang.
That's how we look at it. People need to remember, Tom Brady went 10 years without winning another Super Bowl after winning 3. It's like we forget that. You know, Tom Brady, his first 7 years, I believe it was, the dude had 3 Super Bowl wins. But in 2007, he lost to the Giants, an undefeated season. He lost to the Giants again, and he lost to the Broncos in the AFC Championship game. It wasn't until against the Seahawks where he finally got the monkey off his back. He finally won that 4th Super Bowl. So we have to wait, because we keep coming to these conclusions. Not we, but, you know, those people come to those conclusions where, oh my God, he can never catch Brady. Bro, it took Brady 10 years before he got his 4th Super Bowl. So can we calm down? Can we stop this, like Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp try to do, where they're like, all of a sudden, nah, he can't catch Brady anymore, when y'all were saying, oh my God, he has a case to be to go. Like, can we stop switching our agendas, our narratives off of one loss? Like, the dude is 3-2 in Super Bowls. 3-2.
The man was a game away from completing the first ever 3-peat, and now it just don't matter because he stunk it up. Like, what are we talking about here? And now people talk about oh, look at his stats in the Super Bowl. Like, when did we ever start doing this? Like, when did we ever start comparing stats in the Super Bowl? I've never seen that before until Mahomes was involved. They can't do regular playoff stats because he's washing most people. So now we pivoting to Super Bowl stats. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is the most disingenuous argument ever. And I've seen people say, well, if that was Lamar or Josh Allen, they would have got cooked too. Well,
they don't have 3 Super Bowl
rings. Not by
rings.
people who watch the game.
They don't have 3 Super Bowl rings.
And also only the non-ball knowers is going to blame the QB solely for this loss. The O-line couldn't block anybody.
Literally. That was
They
the game.
Getting whooped over half of the daggone snaps. Yes, Mahomes had bad plays, but I'm not about to sit up here and say, oh, it's all Mahomes' fault. And just because they do it to Josh Allen and Lamar, that's stupid, man. That is stupid.
Brian, they literally moved.
That is sheep speak.
They moved their left guard to left tackle. They moved Joe Thuney to left tackle, and they have Jawan Taylor at right tackle, who's arguably the worst person on their O-line. So how are they supposed to protect Patrick Mahomes? This was the same thing that happened against the Buccaneers, except he literally was missing majority of his offensive line in that game. And this one, they just put some glue, some tape on it, and they were able to get to the Super Bowl. We got to salute to the Chiefs. The fact that they were able to make it all the way when they was looking very skeptical the entire season. I'm shocked they were able to do it. The fact that they were able to get to the Super Bowl with this offensive line is insane to me. This entire season, from start to about, I would say, before the Christmas Day game, we was like, is this Chiefs team, are they finally going to not make the Super Bowl? Because they don't look too well.
Skip that, and people won't skip that.
And then that Steelers game rolls around. We're like, damn. And then the next game rolls around. We're like, damn. Okay, now they're playing their best football. And, the narrative changed. And then eventually
had all these other teams above them. They was like, oh, yeah, the Bills, they're going to finally get them. The Ravens going to finally get them. And then all of a sudden, when they don't get them yet again, now it's like, oh my gosh, I'm sick and tired of this. Like, you literally set yourself up for this.
And I think another thing we also have to pay attention to, we talked about the trenches, but in order to beat the Chiefs, you got to have a loaded roster. Like, bruh, the Buccaneers, the Eagles, look at the positions that they have. Look at the names that they have on the roster. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, that offensive line, that defensive line with Jalen Carter, the back end, you have Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Zach Bond, who came from the Saints, and now he's an all-pro, who's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. They got all of these dudes. They have all of this talent. The Buccaneers, we can go to the Buccaneers. Shaq Barrett. You have the linebacker position Levante back when Devin White was a decent player. Levante David, Vita Vea. And then you have the offense, Antoine Winfield. Then you got the offense with Mike Evans, with Chris Godwin, with Tom Brady, Tristan Wirth. They drafted playoff Lenny. Like, come on, Gronkowski was still good.
Yeah. Like, come on, had Antonio Brown too.
Oh my! And then they had Antonio Brown. Like, Antonio Brown, are you kidding me? As your number 3, that's just unheard of. Of course, they're not going to beat that team. You have to have a loaded roster to beat this team. If you don't have a loaded roster, good luck. Unless you're as clutch as Mahomes, which 9 times out of 10, most of these quarterbacks aren't clutch. Matter of fact, 10 out of 10, they're not clutcher than Mahomes. You better have a loaded roster because you're not going to beat the Chiefs. That's just what I took away from that game. You need to have just a bunch of great players on your team if you want to beat that team. Because if not, you're not going to win. Yes, you need to have the better dude.
You got to make it to where scheme don't even matter for real.
Right, exactly. Because
it's really like, honestly, the Chiefs, if you got to beat them head on head, you got to beat them man on man. Win your ones. That's literally how you beat the Chiefs.
Because remember, the 49ers, they had a pretty solid roster, but we have to understand that offensive line wasn't the greatest. And
Dre Greenlaw towards Achilles mid-game.
Yeah. And I want to say Ufunga was hurt too. He got hurt.
I think he was out for the season.
Yeah. So they were missing their top defensive players. You got to have everybody there. You got to have your top dudes there. If not, you're not beating the Chiefs. And the Eagles had everything perfect. Everything perfect was set for them. And they was able to capitalize on. And Jalen Hurts, he plays well against the Chiefs. It's a great matchup for him, and he was able to exploit that Chiefs defense, and they won the game. So, salute to them. I got nothing much else to say besides the fact that now let's look at 2026. According to USA Today, the Eagles are the favorites at plus 600. Kansas City is plus 700. They're number 2. The Ravens are tied with Kansas City for plus 700. The Bills are also tied with the Ravens and Kansas City at plus 700. And then you have the Lions plus 900. You have the San Francisco 49ers at plus 1,500, which is interesting. Then you have the Bengals. Then you have the Commanders and Packers that are tied with one another. The Rams are after that, Chargers, Texans, yada, yada, yada. So, looking at 2026 Super Bowl, who do you have as your favorites at this moment? I know it's too early. I know it's way too early, but we might as well look ahead right now. Who are you looking at out of the NFC at this moment as your favorite?
Honestly, until shown otherwise, I'm going to have to go with the Eagles. And the reason I'm saying that because pretty much they're going to miss a few guys are going to leave, but for the most part, they drafted well enough to where they have dudes ready to step up and fill those roles. Like Brandon Graham is probably going to retire. They got Nolan Smith, and they'll probably draft another guy to really step in and fill that. Jalen Carter, more development. Slade probably may be out the door, but shoot, they got Quinyon and DeJean, and and they still got Avonte Maddox. He might be leaving too, but the way the Eagles, they just pop out corners. I don't know what's going on. Offensively, I think pretty much everyone's returning. Lane Johnson said he's not retiring no time soon. Saquon's still under contract. Dallas, I mean, they're going to pretty much run it back. And I really don't see, unless Kellen Moore was just that good offensively, X's and O's, I don't see them really falling off unless Jalen Hurts just doesn't play very well. But, I mean, honestly, he doesn't really have to play all that well for them to win games and stuff because that defense is so dominant. I really don't see how they don't at least make it to the NFC Championship again. Something bad with like a Super Bowl, crazy Super Bowl slump would have to happen. But I'm gonna make it a little interesting. Outside of the Eagles, I'm probably gonna say if this team right here does the necessary things they need to do in the offseason, I'm gonna go with the Commanders.
Oh,
if they do the right, if they draft correctly, be aggressive in free agency, I think they have a really good shot at getting back to the NFC Championship game. And it's very hard to get back there. But Jaden Daniels is just that good. And I know the schedule is going to be a lot tougher next year for the entire NFC East. Like, I think literally all the NFC East teams are top 5 in strength of schedule. But the things I've seen him do this past year, I don't see how he can't replicate. He's done it week after week. He's done it in the playoffs. And really, they was going toe-to-toe with the Eagles until the turnover started happening.
That's true.
So I'm saying, if you give them a shot, give them an updated roster, the coaching is going to remain the same, so that's more continuity. They can really make it back there.
Interesting. I'm gonna disagree on you.
In the off season.
I'm gonna disagree on that one. I think we're underestimating the Detroit Lions. I understand they're going to lose Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. But let's not act like they still don't have the dudes. They still don't have all that talent, and they still don't have the head coach. I believe what are you going to say?
People don't realize that Dan Campbell had a lot to do with that offense. Like, people just credit the offense to Ben Johnson. Dan Campbell actually had a lot of input. Like, he was a former tight end. He knows offense. So I don't know why people would think he wasn't really involved. Like, he was definitely in the meetings. I'm telling you, he was definitely in those meetings.
And gotta also understand, that's a great point. As the head coach, you want an identity for your offense. There's a certain identity you're looking for. And for that to be the case, he was definitely a part of the reason why that offense flourished a lot. Now, whoever comes in is the play caller. Good luck. I just look at the Detroit Lions in that situation. I believe if they were healthy, boy, I know the Eagles had a fantastic year, but man, the way the Lions were looking before all the injuries happened, I thought that team was the favorite. If they was healthy,
absolutely would.
I would have picked them to win the Super Bowl. I would have picked them over the Chiefs. I thought they were the perfect team to take down the Chiefs. And this season, with everybody coming back, with Aiden Hutchinson coming back, he was on a Defensive Player of the Year trajectory. I just can't see how they're not the pick to win because they still have all their dudes. They're going to be motivated. They're going to be ready to go. They're losing the coordinators, but I believe they'll figure out a way to fill that void and still flourish offensively and defensively. I just look at the NFC East with the Eagles. Every year, there's a new winner. Every single year. We keep saying otherwise. I know. We keep saying otherwise. Like, oh, my God, the Eagles, they made it to the Super Bowl in 2022. Man, there's 2023 technically. Man, there's no way that they're not going to repeat as champion. Like the Cowboys are going to usurp them. No way. The Commanders, absolutely not. And then they don't win the division. They make it back to the playoffs, but they don't win the division because they lose a coordinator. They lose a couple players here. I just think that the Eagles, they're going to take a step down from what they did this past season because they're going to lose Kellen Moore, because they're going to lose Zach Bond and Josh Sweat and a couple of other players. And that's going to have a detrimental effect on the overall team. They'll still be good, but what you said about the Commanders, I believe could be true in terms of them getting better, them adding more pieces. I just don't think it's going to be good enough to usurp the Lions. I believe the Lions, they'll be back ready, better than ever, and I think they're going to be the team to beat in the NFC. That's no disrespect to the Eagles because they're a great team. They won the Super Bowl, but it's very hard to repeat in this day and age when you have a quarterback that he's good, but he ain't no Lamar Jackson, he ain't no Patrick Mahomes, and he ain't no Josh Allen. And that roster, you're going to have to get rid of some dudes. I just can't see them repeating. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about it.
I mean, it sounds logical because it's super rare. You got to have like a GOAT level QB to repeat, like Mahomes or something. But I mean, yeah, but I honestly was going to pick the Lions, but it's just I got to see how they fill out. Like, I don't even know if they filled out their coaching staff hires yet, unless I just haven't been paying attention. But I think they'll still be fine. I think honestly, they'll probably still win the NFC North. And honestly,
do you think? Because the last time I believe we seen something to that realm was Seattle with Russ and the Legion of Boom, if I'm not mistaken, in the NFC. I'm talking about where you had this all-time great defense and you had this amazing running game. Do you think that the Eagles defense is that caliber, that level? I mean, they're great, don't get me wrong, but man, that Legion of Boom was something different. And they squeaked by. Remember, if that dude, oh my God, I cannot believe he did that.
The 49ers game too. Yeah.
Yo, if you remember in 2015 play, was it 2020, I think it's 2015 playoffs. 2015 playoffs. If you remember, my Packers versus the Seahawks, we had them dead to right, but then you had the onside kick, that tight end. He wasn't supposed to get in the way of Jordy Nelson. He bobbles it. He gets cut after the game, by the way. And some funny business happens. They squeak by to get to the Super Bowl. This team, I don't know, man. I don't know if they have that magic in them to get back.
Honestly, it's going to be definitely more difficult because now they're going to be hunted, and teams and teams they're going to retool. They're going to retool. And they're going to be ready to run it back. And it's not like it's a lot of sleeper teams in my opinion. I still think, honestly, I know people it's fun to, but honestly, I can't rule out the 49ers. Honestly, I really can't because they are just a well-coached team. It's not like they're losing a whole bunch of dudes. I know Debo wants to be traded or something like that, but who is Debo? I mean, they weren't really utilizing him to his full potential anyway. He can't really run routes all that well. But CMC should be back and healthy. Ayuk should be back and healthy. They still got Kittle. They're going to give Brock Purdy some money, but they're not really I don't think it's really going to hurt them too much, but I think I can't rule out the 49ers. So it's gonna be the Commanders going to be ready to run it back. The Lions going to be ready to run it back with a healthy roster. Who knows what the Vikings? I still don't believe in the Vikings much, but anything can happen in this league.
I'm crossing them out. I'm being completely honest.
Depending on what the Rams do with Stafford and all that stuff, they can honestly run it back. They took the Eagles to the wire. Let's not forget, on the road as well. So yeah, you just may never know.
I love how you mentioned the Packers, but I understand.
Listen, I
understand why you said that. I understand. Listen, we need a number one receiver and we need an edge rusher. That's what we need. Number one receiver. And what's his name? That dude from ESPN. He did that stupid mock draft, and he had
Jeremiah?
No. That's NFL Network. That dude, he does fantasy as well. I forgot his name. But he just did a mock draft and had us taking a corner, that corner from Kentucky. Listen here. If we take a corner in the first round, huh?
No, not Dane.
No. Whoever his name is. If we take a corner in the first round, I might break some stuff. I might break some furniture. Because we do not need a corner more than a edge rusher. We need a edge rusher. I'm telling you, bro. Either edge or wide receiver. Those are the only two positions we should be drafted in the first round. Is it Matt Miller? Nah, bro. Nah. It's somebody.
When did the mock draft come out?
It just happened like not too recent. He literally on NFL Live, they were literally talking about it.
It was today?
Yeah, it was today. They were reacting to it today.
Field Yates?
Yes, him. God damn it, you. I like you a lot too. I like your analysis, but damn, that mock draft sucks. Anywho, but yeah, man, I don't want to make this a Packer segment. At the end of the day, I just can't see the Eagles going back to back. I don't think they're as good as the Legion of Boom. The Legion of Boom, bro, they was different. They was different. And Russell Wilson was still on a rookie contract, if you remember correctly. So a lot of different things happened with that team. It was just a perfect storm for them. I just like another team too. I'm going to take the field on that one. So, all right. Let's move on to the last topic. I'm really excited for this one. I'm be honest, out of everything that happened in the Super Bowl, this is the only thing that I was like happy about. Everything else was a blur to me. Everything else, I was just like, man, get that out of here. Kendrick Lamar halftime performance. A lot of controversy. A lot of people are split on this halftime performance. But I got to say something. I got to say something because a lot of people have been saying one thing. A lot of people have been saying another thing. And I'm going to say this because I'm getting sick and tired of all these people that didn't like the performance. Number one, the reasons why they don't like performance are absurd to me. Oh, I couldn't understand what he was saying.
That mic was low.
I mean, I could still understand some of the songs. I could definitely like the one where he
Luther, I know the song, so I mean
Luther. Like if you couldn't understand what he was saying, I don't know what to tell you. Or what is it? All the stars or something like that from the Black Panther album. Like you couldn't understand what he's saying with that one. I don't know what to tell you. You need to recheck your ears or something. But that one it was another one where it's like, hey, I'm just looking for entertainment or something. This is not entertaining. I'm like, it wasn't for you. All right, let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. If you're not familiar with Kendrick Lamar's music, if you're not familiar with Black culture, if you're not familiar with West Coast sound, then this wasn't for you because he was not trying to appease that demographic. He was trying to appease Black people that love hip hop, that love lyricism, that love storytelling. He was appeasing those people because those people would enjoy that type of stuff. And if you remember, Brian, Kendrick did the same exact thing. If you ever watch his Grammy performance, where he did a couple of songs from A Pimp a Butterfly. It was very theatric. He was wearing chains.
All right.
He
did one from his Untitled project.
Right. He was wearing chains like a prisoner. He had people in the background behind bars. And then he had one where it was like just something was on fire and he was rapping. Okay, so he does this theatrical type of thing where it feels like a movie. It feels like a music video per se, a short film. And in it was a message. And a lot of people didn't catch the message. They just looked at the whole thing about Drake. Oh, he's taking shots at Drake. Oh, the halftime performance is about Drake. Y'all motherfuckers was not passing English class, because in English class we would read books, right? We would read books and we would analyze certain pages in the books. The English teacher would say, "Hey, what does this mean? What is the text trying to say?" and stuff like that. Clearly, a lot of people was failing that class because a lot of the stuff that he was doing was layered. You have to really understand the context behind everything. Samuel L. Jackson, genius. Uncle Sam, genius. He's black too, and also it's reference to his role in Django. Remember, he was that coon. He was what was he? He was the slave, but he was like the house Negro, the house Negro who was also a coon as well. Genius to have Samuel L. Jackson do Uncle Sam. He represented just society trying to say you have to play the game, Kendrick. You have to abide by these rules in order to appease certain type of people so you can prosper, so you can get to a certain position. And you know what Kendrick did? He showed A, the revolution is televised, and 2, it was a rebellion against that idea, against this notion that I have to do these certain things in order to get to a certain level. He said, F all that. Screw all that. I'm not going to play the game you're telling me to play. That was the whole message of the performance. F the whole Drake part. That was a small portion of the performance that people were just pointing to. That's how I know they don't listen to his music, because they kept saying, "Oh, I love the performance. The performance was only good because of the Drake part." Because y'all don't understand Kendrick at all. And I'm not trying to be like, "Oh, I'm a Kendrick dick rider." I'm just a fan of hip hop. That matter of fact, I want to get your thoughts on it, because I don't want to go too much on it. I'll continue after you give your opinion on it. What was your opinion on the performance? We'll get to the grading afterwards, but what was your opinion on the performance? And also, what was your thoughts on just some of the backlash that you've been hearing from Kendrick Lamar's performance?
Listen, honestly, I enjoyed the performance. I think visually it was very pleasing. I do kind of wish there was more. Like, I like some of the shots they did, like especially on Peekaboo. It was like the cinematography was pretty good. And I was like, when he did Not Like Us, and he was walking around in that circle. The visuals was great. But I just wish there was more on a grandiose scale, because it's like the Super Bowl. It felt more like a music video to me. So I was like, this probably wouldn't translate well to the casual viewer or during the Super Bowl. But the people who enjoy the art aspect of what Kendrick Lamar likes to do, they're going to enjoy this performance, and I know I did. The people who didn't understand it, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, this country is very not media literate. I'll say that, because some of the stuff was literally, it was right in your face and you still missed it. You couldn't see the forest for the trees. Like the themes was very clear, especially that part where he did that last portion of the verse on Man at the Garden. I think that's what that song is called. And he was like, "Did it with integrity and still try hate on me." That's literally goes with the theme of the Super Bowl performance, where he was like, he's rejecting this whole respectability politics type rhetoric that they try to push on artists and how you got to do things a certain way. You said I did it with integrity and still was hating, so I'm gonna just do what I do regardless. And people really, they wasn't paying attention. And I thought it was a great performance. I like how it was so much movement. He wasn't just staying in a certain place. Like I like the set, like the beginning, how all these people came out the GNX. I don't know how they fit all them people in it, but they all came out the GNX. And then the whole American flag with the people, with the red, white, blue. I thought that was fire. Like I said, the visuals was great. I enjoyed the performance. I think over time, people probably really appreciate it for what it was, but the people, the disingenuous, the bad faith actors, they're always going to say what they want to say, and we just don't pay attention to them because honestly, this wasn't for a certain group of people, and I honestly do not want to hear about their opinions on hip hop and rap from certain groups of people. And this ain't got nothing to do with race. I'm just saying, it's definitely some white people that I know that really enjoyed the performance. Yeah. I'm just saying it's certain groups.
Timothy Chalamet, salute to him.
There's certain groups that we all know, the bad faith actors, the people that didn't want to get it. They just saw a certain person on stage and they started hating. That can apply to multiple genres of people. So I don't really care what they have to say about anything on this matter. We just the people that know and the people that rock with it. Hey, we just gonna have fun at our little party. We all the losers outside the club. We just gonna ignore
them. Why is Serena Williams crip walking? Why is she so obsessed with her ex? Like.
So you mean to tell me it was cool when Drake was doing all them disses and subliminals, but now that Serena's is taking part and stomping on his, dancing on his grave, now it's a problem. See, these people they ain't got no moral, they have no type of anything, no type of consistency in what they talk about.
And check this out. Drake has been subliminal. Matter of fact, the last time he dissed her, it wasn't even subliminal, it was direct. He has been subliminally dissing Serena for years. So finally, the first time she responds at the Super Bowl, it's a problem. And see, this is another thing that has been an issue for a many, many long time in regards to how society treats Black women. But that's a different discussion for another day. But yeah, man, that was another thing where it's like, oh, why are you so obsessed towards your ex? Stephen A. Smith gonna come out and say, man, if I was married to Serena and she was still obsessing over Drake and doing that, then I would divorce her. Like, shut up, man. Shut up, old man.
Stephen,
get out of here.
Married, never been married.
Exactly.
So I don't know
that's what
why
you're
speaking on anything. You're like 50 years old, man.
Yeah, bro. What, man, if you don't be quiet and move, this is why I don't like people who talk about these conversations that have no clue behind the context of the story. Why is she doing that? He has no idea why she's doing that, what came about that situation. And that's my problem with people like him, is that he puts himself in conversations he shouldn't be in. I don't like to say this, but he really needs to stick to sports. Like, he should not be in conversations involving hip hop, because especially contemporary hip hop, he has no clue what's going on right now involving hip hop, Black culture, etc. The only people that know are the people around him, and he thinks just because the people around him know that stuff, that means he should be involved in it. No, it should be not. He shouldn't say a word about this stuff unless he is educated about it. So that's all I wanted to say on that matter. But back to the halftime show. Another thing that somebody pointed out was the American flag. If you notice, Kendrick was in the middle, and then you had, other people beside him representing the American flag. And what people said that symbolizes the fact that, one, everybody that was wearing colors of the American flag were all Black. So it symbolizes Black people as they were the ones that built America on their back. That's what they said that symbolizes in that photo. Trying to think, what was something else? The Samuel L. Jackson one we already know. And another thing, I think Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam, especially as a Black man, that also references as well the fact that Black people cooning. The coons out here, man, they're also the ones that are they're the ones that are at fault as well in this situation. So I think that was another thing that was beautiful. I'm trying to think what else am I missing? What else am I missing? I'm missing something else. But besides the point, getting to the grade of the performance, I give it a B plus. Here's what I'll say: what I like and what I don't like. What I love about the performance: one, I love the visuals. I love the fact that Kendrick was actually rapping. Like, it wasn't like he was lip singing or anything like that. And while he was rapping, he was moving, he was dancing, he was performing. I love the stage. I love everything. It was like a Squid Game. If you notice, like the way that it was presented, it was like a PlayStation Squid Game type of thing. That was really, really dope to see. I loved it. I loved the storytelling, the symbolism of the performance. If it made me have to think, it made me have to grasp what I was watching. It wasn't just surface level. I love that. I love the art of it all. The music choices I was cool with. There was some music choices I would have loved to see more of. Money Trees, All Right, different songs I would have loved to see. But for the most part, I was cool off of it. But where the negative of the performances is that, like you mentioned, it didn't feel grandiose. I was watching Bomani Jones. He made a great point about how this is a Super Bowl and you want it to feel big. And I felt like that performance, it felt very closed in. It felt very isolated in like a certain spot that you didn't feel just how big it really is compared to some other Super Bowls where it just felt like there was just so much more. Like I remember in 2022 where they had like so many different people surrounding the football field. This was the Dr. Dre, the Snoop Dogg. I forget what other Super Bowl, may have been the Beyonce, the Bruno Mars one, where they had a bunch of people just surrounding the football field. Stuff like that. I wish there was more of that. I wish there would have been more, I don't know, maybe fireworks or explosions like he did with the Pop-Out show. Remember the Pop-Out show? He had like these fireworks. He had this pyro and stuff when I think it was Euphoria and Not Like Us, where he said da 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 da, and it was just like exploding. I wish he would have had more of that to make the impact hit more. Those are my criticisms. That's why I give it a B plus. But for the most part, I enjoyed it. What about you? What is your grade?
Honestly, yeah, I'd give it a B plus as well. I'd like to say I like the visuals. I like the fact that, like you said, he was actually rapping, and not only he was just rapping, he was moving, rapping. He really didn't miss a beat, and he also had to substitute lyrics and stuff. And I know as a rapper, you're so used to singing the explicit version of your song, so it's kind of, you really have to like pinch it. Okay, I got to make sure I'm not about to just curse in front of 117 or 122 million people. I think they said that's how many saw it. So I think the performance aspect was pretty good. I do wish he would have brought on someone along with SZA to perform. Just to give. I know he was just trying to perform popular songs. SZA is a well-known artist and things. So I just wish he would have put like, I don't know, somebody. I don't know who, but it's somebody that people like, oh, that's such and such. But yeah, because he said he had a big surprise. I'm like, what was the big surprise? I don't know if it was Samuel or what, but so yeah, I enjoyed that.
Jay-Z.
Like the negatives, Jay-Z. Hey, Don't Kill My Vibe remix.
Don't Kill My Vibe remix. Hey, I'm just saying, like, that would have been
things. I wish he would have performed at least one of either Money Trees, Mad City, even Swimming Pools. I just wish he would have just did one of them, just because those are like such classic songs in his discography. A lot of people know those songs, but also the mic quality. Like, come on, Fox. The broadcast. I don't know why on YouTube it sounds perfectly fine, but during the broadcast, I'm like, I can hear him, but I can't really like hear him. And I'm like, Fox, y'all got to get that under control. So that kind of ruined it a little bit for me. Because I'm like, man, I know what he's saying because I know the songs, but if I don't know the songs, I'm like, what is he saying? Because you can kind of be like, the backtrack was just so much louder than the actual mic. It was just throwing it off a little bit. And honestly, like you said, I feel like he left a little bit of meat on the bones by not having it as like this grand type of performance and grand scale thing. Other than that, I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I agree. And you made a great point. I should have mentioned that before, but the fact that he was able to censor himself while performing, like, you know how hard that is? Like, you have to remember all these different lyrics, and he was able to censor himself to make sure that it appeases FCC Airways. Like, that is hard to do. And the fact he was able to do that while performing, while dancing, while moving around, is just unreal. Like, that was a masterclass on how you perform in the moment. It's ridiculous. And not like us.
Not bringing that up. Yeah.
Not like us, Euphoria, how he was able to rap a diss track in a way that doesn't hurt, doesn't go against regulations, TV regulations. Like, come on, man. Like, that's hard to do. Like, that's damn near impossible to do, especially when you're talking about a guy that's a PDF file. You're calling a man a PDF file, you're A minor, all this stuff. That is so hard to do. And the fact he was able to get away with it and make it still sound great, that's just a masterclass. He was up against it. You don't see like Usher, Beyonce, Justin Timberlake, all these different performers. They don't have all that explicit stuff in their music. Like, yeah, you know, they have sexual stuff in their music, but they don't have a bunch of like curse word. Yeah. Oh yeah, Weeknd. Yeah, Weeknd. But they don't have a bunch of curse words and stuff like that in the realm of Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar had to censor a lot, and the fact that he was able to do that on that grandiose of a stage is impressive, man. It really is, and people are just not appreciating how he was able to do that, dude. Like, he was the first hip hop solo artist to main event a halftime show, and it was just him, 2 songs with SZA, and he delivered, in my opinion. And anybody else that thinks otherwise, I just don't know what you saw that could think otherwise.
Speak for themselves.
I'm just thinking from the perspective of, like, if I wasn't a Kendrick Lamar fan, if I was just, this is my first time seeing Kendrick Lamar, and I'm being objective, I could say it was all right. But this go ahead and say it's trash? It's like, how? Then you're just not a hip hop guy. You're just not a hip hop fan. If you just say it's trash, like, that's just how I look at it, man. I just can't think of any other way.
Everything ain't for everybody. I don't try to understand what people don't like. I worried about the stuff what people do like.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, and I just loved it. The Super Bowl, it was a blowout. This was the highlight of the Super Bowl right here. I literally forgot. I was like, hey, I know Mahomes is down 24, but hey, man, at least I got this performance to think about for the remainder of the game and for the next day. So I can look forward to that. But this was the most blackish halftime performance we've ever seen. This is blacker than anything Beyonce did. This is blacker than anything Usher, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. Like, you got to think about this. The 2022 halftime show with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, they were playing a lot of commercial hits that, you know, let's just be real. Like, the white people enjoy. Like, come on now. A lot of commercial hits that white folks know, white folks enjoyed, and stuff like that. In the Club by Dr. Dre. They had Eminem. They had 50 Cent, they had Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, California Love. Yeah, Mary J. Blige. You know, these are a lot of songs that white folks are going to enjoy. With Kendrick Lamar, I'm not saying white folks don't enjoy Kendrick Lamar, but there's some songs that aren't, you know, commercially known as much as the 2022 songs. And he's more of a urban, contemporary type of artist where he's more, you know, he resonates more with the younger crowd than he does the 50, 60, 70-year-olds. So it's going to be a lot different, but he still made sure to put black culture at the forefront. And that's why I love the performance. That's why it's the blackest performance I've ever seen from a Super Bowl. And I guarantee you next year they're going to either have Eminem or Taylor Swift performing in the Super Bowl because they're like, wait a minute. We got the Weeknd one year. We got the Weeknd one year, and then you put Mary J. Blige, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Dr. Dre, and then you put Kendrick Lamar, Rihanna too. Nah, we got to switch it up. We got to switch it up. It's too black.
I think the only solo artist, rap artist that could have an A+ Super Bowl performance solo is Kanye, and he done lost his mind. So it ain't even possible no more.
Really?
White people they used to love Kanye.
You don't think Jay-Z? He too old? He too washed?
Only because when was the last time we seen Jay-Z on any stage?
I think remember he did that tour. I think remember him and Beyonce had like they had an album together. It was called The Carters. Yeah.
How many years ago was that?
It wasn't too long ago. That's probably like, what was that, 2 years ago, maybe?
They had what was this album?
What? Hold on.
I do not remember them releasing no joint album.
It's called it was 2018. It was called yeah.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I do remember
Everything is Love.
Okay, I do remember that album.
Yeah, I think they had a whole tour and everything. Like I remember, back then.
Jay-Z, I mean, he's not really like known for like performance though. He has the hits to do.
He has a lot of hits and he has a lot of features.
You got to do the performance plus the actual. You have to have the catalog to do. Kanye, he I think prime Kanye, he would have been good.
Oh yeah, prime Kanye, but he's too controversial now. He's too.
That ship has sailed.
That ship has failed.
Off the face of the earth.
Yeah, he's crashed out. He's the definition of a crash out.
He was able to get a commercial.
Hey man, when you got the money, it don't matter. It don't matter at this day and age. They say, hey, if you got the money, go ahead and spend it for the commercial. But yeah, I mean, with Jay-Z, I don't know. I think he has the hits. He has the commercial hits. It just comes down to how he performs. I don't think he can perform on the level of a Kendrick Lamar, because Kendrick Lamar, dude, he was dancing, he was rapping, he was censoring his rap songs. He was doing so much stuff that was incredible. I don't know if there's any other hip hop artist that can replicate something like that.
A male artist, no.
I don't know. I don't know.
Like Doechii could replicate the performance, but she don't got no.
But she don't have the hits. She don't have the hits. That's my thing. Like, you gotta have the hits. Like, who can replicate something to that realm and have the hits that can resonate with an audience on the caliber of a Super Bowl? Like, I just can't see it. This is why it's so rare for Kendrick Lamar to do something like that, because normally it'd be like somebody like Drake, but Drake, he's declined the Super Bowl so many times. He's not going to do the Super Bowl. Allegedly. That's the only other dude I can see it.
Yeah.
But
the next year they'll probably have like some Billie Eilish or something up there. Hey, Billie got some hits. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't know it was her that was singing it, but I heard this. I was like, hold on, this her?
I'm not denying who she is. I'm just saying, like, in terms of the stuff that I vibe with on a daily basis.
I don't listen to pop either, but
I listen. Like I listen to I like The Weeknd, I like Kendrick, I like Cole. I used to really like Drake, but I like certain hip hop / R&B type of artists. That lane is. I'm not going to deny that they're great. I'm just saying, like, this is the first, in my opinion, Super Bowl halftime show that really catered to exactly what I wanted.
Ooh.
In terms of my age, demographic, genre. That the 2022 was cool, but that was more for the older folks. This was the first time where I finally got the halftime show that was really catered to what I love, what I listen to on a daily basis. And that's why I'm gonna remember this forever. So is there anything else we need to discuss before we get out here? We both have a B+ for the halftime show. Anything else before we get out of here until Saturday?
No. I know that. I know the Saints hired Kellen Moore, but
They did. Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much it. I think he probably do okay.
All right.
It depends who he hired.
That is true. All right. Well,
we could do breakdown. He'll probably have his staff done before Saturday. So after that, we can kind of like go and look at all the teams that hired coaches and stuff. Say how the staff feel down, and we can kind of like give us a little thoughts on that.
Yeah, and then we can start to look more forward into the NFL Combine, NFL Draft. Get ready for that. Should be exciting. All right, well, that'll do it for this episode of the Courtside View Podcast. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, follow the socials. Also, check out our playlist, our full podcast, our other channel, our NBA channel. Links will be in the description. We'll see you all on the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Salute.
All right.